I'm Dr. Jill Aylott from the World Academy of Medical Leadership, and today we'd like to welcome you to Module 3, Learning Unit 5, Self-Determination Theory and Medical Engagement. We have a global crisis in the recruitment and retention of doctors. The demand for healthcare is outstripping global supply of doctors, nurses, and other health professionals. Yet doctors are well placed to be able to improve the health system. And the difficulty is doctors don't have the time in their job plan to improve the system because they are being so busy delivering the care that's required. So the aim of this learning unit is to explore self-determination theory as a theory of human motivation, and to see how we can support the use of this theory to engage medical colleagues and the wider healthcare team to support the transformation and change of the system to cater for the increasing demand for healthcare in the future. So by the end of this learning unit, you will be able to explain what is meant by self-determination theory as a theory of motivation, explore how to use self-determination theory to engage colleagues, reflect on an example of how self-determination theory is used in workforce development, and finally identify how it can be used in everyday practice in the workplace to motivate the team. So what is self-determination theory, and how can it explain why some doctors are engaged and others aren't? Motivation, what is it? Intrinsic. Intrinsic motivation is when you are drawn to do something because you love to do it. Extrinsic motivation is when you are required to do something, for example an audit or a quality improvement project, because you are required to do it for your ARCP or because your manager tells you to do it. Self-determination theory argues that to engage doctors in learning activities, they need to be able to choose or co-design the content, method, etc. A good team leader will provide guidance and support, but should leave it to the individual to choose what and how to undertake this work. People are likely to be more committed the more involved they are. If everyone does the same program, and if everyone is instructed to go on the same program, they will have low self-determination. However, if the person has a bespoke and personalized program, they are involved in the co-design or co-production of this work, and they can choose which program to go on, they will have high self-determination. Having high levels of self-determination requires there to be 3 distinct elements in place, and these are autonomy support, relatedness, and competence. Autonomy support is a central feature of self-determination theory, and it explains that people need to have choice in determining their own actions and regulating their behavior, and this is explained as follows. Controlled motivation is extrinsic motivation, where action to behave is because of the pressure applied from others. And it's recognized that action is required to pass a course or to go through a stage of a training program. The opposite of this is autonomous motivation, which is intrinsic motivation. And this is based on actions of individual choice, where people are intrinsically motivated, and this will result in personal growth. All doctors are required to undertake quality improvement projects in the workplace. There will be a difference between extrinsic motivation if your team leader or manager tells you which quality improvement project to do, or intrinsic motivation will be where you see an problem, an issue in the workplace, and you are intrinsically driven to want to concentrate on this problem for your quality improvement project. Let's go now to our first learning activity. Learning activity 1. To what extent are you able to determine your own quality improvement project? Is there pressure on you to do a project that is more of interest to your supervisor? If you were to choose a project that most represents your passion, what would it be? The second core strand of self-determination theory is relatedness. Relatedness is about the number of people that are positive in your team around you in the workplace. Self-determination theory suggests there should be at least 5 people who are supportive of you in order to retain your motivation. Let's now turn to our second learning activity. Learning activity 2. Can you identify 5 positive people around you in the workplace who will give you support for your quality improvement project? Try to network and engage with these people as they are key to you sustaining your motivation. Write down their names now and the role that they will play in supporting you with your quality improvement project. The final element of self-determination theory is competence. Competence explains the skills required for you to complete the task and be motivated. If you have 5 people positive around you, and if you have autonomy support, but you don't have the competence, then you are going to struggle and your motivation will stall. Our suggestion would be that you refer to the Squire guidelines and identify the core elements that are required for you to write up a quality improvement project for your peers. We'd now like to introduce you to learning activity 3 to support you to think about the skills that you require to undertake your quality improvement project. Learning activity 3. Have a look at the Squire framework and identify what your quality improvement method will be and how will you measure improvement. You may have thought that you will be using lean methodology or the PDSA cycle. Whichever way you are going, you will need to identify the skills required and refer to the appropriate learning videos and learning units to help you to do this. What skills do you think you will need to complete this work? For our final learning activity, we'd now like to introduce you to Chapter 30 in the book Medical Leadership, a Toolkit for Service Development and System Transformation. Chapter 30, led by Dr. Prakash Sabidi. Dr. Prakash Sabidi developed self-determination theory to underpin his workforce development strategy in emergency medicine. Let's have a look at how this was developed. Transforming the emergency medicine medical workforce, a new hybrid doctor with integrated specialty training and a competency-based fellowship in quality improvement. Prakash Sabidi et al. Core features of the Doncaster Structured CSER Fellowship in Quality Improvement FQIM. Recruitment and pre-enrollment. Doctors can join at any level of experience. We assess their competence and place them at different stages of the program between pre-CSER to CSER 1 to 6 years. We identify doctors' area of subspecialist interest using self-determination theory to agree the terms of their contract for the program. Enrollment and CSER contract. Each doctor has a personalised rota to support them to work the hours that they want to fit around family commitments. A timeline for completion is based on an assessment of competencies and the expectations of the doctor. A flexible personal learning plan, learning objectives and tailored mentorship. Agreed progress review twice a year. Personalised program plan. A route map with specific training experience scheduled over time. An integrated fellowship in quality improvement that teaches leadership development from the start to finish of the program. Doctors follow an internal rotation pattern within the NHS Hospital Trust instead of travelling to different hospitals across a region and are supervised by doctors who are trained to support CSER doctors. Weekly teaching sessions. A 1 in 9 fellowship in quality improvement session. A 1 in 9 librarian-led session and trained mentors for feedback, signing off clinical competencies and signposting to further learning resources. Can you identify where the 3 elements of self-determination theory feature in this case study? We're coming to the end of our learning unit today, And our final thought is, how could you use self-determination theory in your work with patients? How will you enable people with chronic conditions autonomy, support, relatedness and competence? We'd like to thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you in our next learning unit. Thank you.